Comprehensive is good, and I'm a fan of it because what it does is a couple things. One, it simplifies essentially the number of quote unquote products you're offering. Like if you're doing aligners on a patient, you're doing aligners. There's one fee for that. It requires the same amount of time to set up, think, deliver, order, all that stuff. The other reason why I like the comprehensive approach is because when you have a treatment that is hinged almost 99% efficacy on the patient just wearing the trays, it's kind of like a built-in insurance. And so what I mean by that is when you try to get super efficient and lean on the number of trays that you're trying to like pre-diagnose a patient needing, what ends up happening is you run into a big risk where if you, let's say on this case, decide where you're like, okay, cool, we're just going to move this mandibular arch here, the tooth that's out of alignment, we're just going to pop it in and it'll probably take like, 5 trays. So you order like the 7 pack, right? Well, what happens when the patient like doesn't wear the 7 trays? And then they go through all of them. And then now they're like, hey, I didn't wear them. Now their teeth have shifted and they're in another weird spot. You have to do a refinement, right? And so usually with these light and express cases, they do not include a refinement. And if they do, maybe it's one. So now you have to scan the patient again, right? Take up chair time, get them back, do the trays, and then hope that they wear them again. Sometimes it works, most of the time it doesn't. And then now you're in a spot where you have to now pay the lab to get more trays to give to the patient. And so now somebody has to pay for that, right? So now you're going to tell the patient, hey, I need you to pay more money to do this treatment. And it gets very awkward. And I'm speaking from experience because I did this when I first started. I used to only do like the Invisalign Express cases because I was like, oh, minimal crowding, like we can do this in 20 trays. But yeah, I had a patient that just wouldn't comply. And when I had to tell them, hey, in order to get the result we want, you have to basically pay for these extra trays because they weren't included. They're like, what do you mean it wasn't included? And it's like, you have just navigating that conversation just becomes very sticky, very messy. So that's one way to do it.